Imagine being an Apache raider, gliding silently through the vast, rugged terrain of the American Southwest. Instead of clashing swords and thundering hooves, your greatest weapon was something as simple and profound as a pile of rocks. Yes, you heard that right, a pile of rocks. But these weren't just any rocks. Arranged just so, perhaps in a circle or a twisting line, they told a story only the keen-eyed could read. That's the cunning artistry of the Apache. Marks on trees, carefully trodden paths, these symbols were the equivalents of whispered warnings. Picture your enemies, trembling at the soundless echo of your presence in their minds. This wasn't just strategy, it was identity. It was their deep, almost spiritual bond with the land. For the Apache, every stone, track, and tree was both ally and messenger. And here's where the real brilliance shines. They transformed the very landscape into a living, breathing piece of psychological art, one that kept foes awake at night, wondering just when and where the Apaches might strike again. Imagine walking through the desert, wary of the endless horizon, when suddenly you notice a set of rocks that seem deliberate. They aren't just scattered, each stone is placed with precision, whispering secrets only those attuned to the land can hear. This was the genius of the Apache warriors, weaving messages into the very fabric of the land. Rocks, tracks, marked trees, they were the Apache way of saying, "We're here. And we're watching." It was more than just a tactic, it was their culture speaking, expressively, boldly. Their command over such subtle signposts was unmatched, turning the American Southwest into a canvas of psychological warfare, where every footstep could tell a tale. The resolute Apache warriors used nature's palette to disorient and unsettle their pursuers, showcasing mastery not just of guerrilla warfare but of the human mind. Even today, this enduring legacy captivates us, weaving into the fabric of history lessons on survival, tactical brilliance, and intimate kinship with the land. Their marks were not just signs of presence but vivid declarations of existence and dominance.
Can you imagine wandering the vast landscapes of the American Southwest, only to find a seemingly random arrangement of pebbles, or trees with unusual markings? These weren't mere coincidences. The cunning Apache raiders turned the land into a living message board. Those rocks, those tracks in the dust, they were the Apache warriors speaking, silently declaring, "We were here." To their enemies, it was a whisper in the wind, chilling them to the bone with the unsettling promise of an omnipresent threat. But to the Apache, it was more than strategy. It was an art form and a testament to their symbiotic relationship with the earth. Each mark, a brushstroke on nature's canvas, reflected their identity and mastery of the land. The Apache mastered psychological warfare long before anyone coined the term, using their understanding of nature to transform every twig and stone into elements of an elaborate, invisible symphony that only they could orchestrate.
Imagine you're lost in the arid vastness of the Southwest, feeling alone and disoriented. Suddenly, you stumble upon a curious formation of rocks, seemingly ordinary but strangely deliberate. You're not alone. This is a whisper from the past, an Apache signal, crafted with precision to unsettle and intrigue. Every track, every mark upon a tree tells a tale, carefully inscribed by warriors who spoke the secret language of the land. These weren't just signs, they were bold declarations of presence and control, drawing from a rich tapestry of cultural identity and tactical brilliance. The landscape became their canvas for psychological mastery, ensuring that every branch snap and rustle in the wind carried a weight of invisible eyes. Intruders found not just terrain to navigate but a living, breathing entity co-conspiring with the Apaches. Imagine a group of Apache warriors, their eyes scanning the horizon, each movement a dance with the earth. They're not just leaving signs, they're crafting stories on the landscape, a twist of a branch, a line in the sand. These aren't simply markings, they're whispers of their presence, shadows playing tricks on the minds of their pursuers. You see, it's much more than a tactic, it's a declaration of identity and connection. For each strategically placed stone speaks of their mastery, each carved tree trunk echoes with cultural depth. Picture the enemy, always watching, yet never knowing when the land itself will spring to life with Apache spirit, turning every step into a psychological battlefield. It's a bit like having the land as an ally, and there's no partnership stronger than that.
It's a quiet day in the rugged landscape of the American Southwest. The sun is high, casting sharp shadows across the rocky terrain. Two modern hikers, Jake and Maya, Pause at a curious arrangement of stones on the trail. Jake. Squinting at the organized rocks. You see this, Maya? Almost looks like someone left these here on purpose. Maya. Smiling with intrigue. Oh, you're onto something. The Apache used to arrange stones like this, a subtle sign to keep others guessing. Jake. Musing. Seems like an ancient form of messaging. Imagine coming across this, not knowing what it meant, but knowing it was meant to unsettle you. Maya. Right? It wasn't just a scare tactic. It was an expression of their culture, a way of staying connected to the land. These markers were as much about identity as they were about strategy. Jake. So, not just warriors, but artists of psychological warfare. Leave a stone, and leave an impression. Maya. Exactly. Their methods keep historians and survivalists fascinated even today. Every rock, every track told a story, woven into the very fabric of the landscape. Jake. Thoughtful. Makes you respect the environment a bit more, doesn't it? They viewed nature as an ally in their struggle to survive. Maya. It was more than survival. It was a mastery of their surroundings. They knew how to use every tree, every ridge, to their advantage. A true harmony with the world around them. Jake. Affirmative nod. Looks like we've got a lot to learn from these forgotten messages. Guardians of the past, echoing into our time. Picture this. The vast, sweeping landscape of the American Southwest, where the whisper of the wind carries stories of Apache warriors who mastered the art of reading the land as if flipping through the pages of an ancient book. Look high, look low, and you'll find subtle hints stitched into the tapestry of nature. A cluster of rocks purposefully aligned not by mere chance, but as a silent declaration, we were here. These were not just random markers or artful doodles of a wandering soul. No, they were deliberate signs echoing a message meant to dance on the edges of an enemy's mind, leaving them restless, guessing, and always looking over their shoulders. In these signs, the Apache warriors communicated with one another, and more importantly, with their enemies, turning the very ground beneath their feet into a fearsome battleground. Their talent to read and weave into the landscape was like an artist signing their masterpiece, an indelible mark of their identity, tied to the land as deeply as the roots of the ancient oak. The land was not only a canvas but an ally, as potent as any weapon, speaking in a language of power and cunning.
Imagine walking through the rugged canyons of the American Southwest, the dry desert wind at your back, and feeling an uncanny chill crawl up your spine. You glance down and notice a pattern of stones, meticulously arranged yet seemingly natural. This is no accident, the Apache have been here. These silent messages whisper of strategy and strength, crafting an invisible map that only their allies understand. It's as if the earth itself is speaking in their tongue, telling stories of a people bound to the land. This artistry is not just about survival, it's a psychological game of cat and mouse. While pursuing them, one might feel their heart racing, always wondering, what do these signs mean? Are they watching us? It's this mastery of terrain, a blend of natural wisdom and tactical brilliance, that has enshrined the Apache warriors as legends. Historians marvel, modern survivalists study, because here, the land is not just scenery, it's an ally, a weapon, a profound testament to the Apache's enduring legacy.
Imagine you're a cowboy in 1866, riding along a desolate trail in the scorching Arizona sun. Suddenly, you notice something odd, a formation of rocks, not random but purposefully stacked and subtly out of place. Your heart begins to race. You realize you've stumbled upon a sign, left not by chance, but by the invisible hand of Apache warriors. These signs speak a language that only they truly understand, embroidering the landscape with whispers of their presence. Every marked tree, every shifted stone tells a tale. Warning, we are here. It's psychological warfare wrapped in nature's disguise, leaving invaders in a perpetual state of unease. But don't be fooled, this isn't just about war. It's an expression of identity, where the earth itself becomes their canvas, painting a legacy of resilience. So, next time you see an oddly arranged pile of rocks on your hike, remember, it might just be nature mimicking the echoes of Apache brilliance.
Imagine walking through the vast, silent expanse of the American Southwest, sun beating down, as even the wind seems to whisper secrets. You notice a stack of rocks arranged a little too perfectly. What you might dismiss as coincidence was, to an Apache raider, a symbol, a message. These markers, subtle enough to evade suspicion, but clear as day to those who know their meaning, were their way of saying, "We see you." But these signs were more than warnings. They were declarations of presence, intent, and ingenuity. It was nature itself that helped the Apache in their cat and mouse game. Each marked tree and carefully placed stone was a fragment of their identity, deeply intertwined with the land they revered. Psychological warfare at its finest, turning the very earth into a message board that kept their enemies guessing and on edge. This legacy of harnessing nature not only baffled enemies but has become a fascinating study for historians and survivalists alike, who are left wondering, what message would you leave behind?
Imagine the desert, silent but for the whispering wind. Now, picture yourself as a weary traveler, treading carefully, and suddenly, there it is. A lone rock that seems misplaced, another beside it deliberately tilted. It's not nature's random touch, it's the sign of the Apache. What are these cryptic messages in stone, you wonder? These weren't just simple markers, they were an invitation to question every step you took from then on. Such was the brilliance of Apache warfare. They knew the land spoke, and they taught it their tongue. Every arranged rock, every carved tree told tales of warriors who danced with the earth and sung their strength to those who dared encroach. You see, this was their battlefield, an art gallery of hidden signs, both a map and a message. Intrigued yet? You should be, because understanding these silent stories was like peeling back the layers of one of history's most enigmatic cultures. These signs were not just warnings, they were declarations. They said, "We are here. We see you. The land is ours."
Picture this: a wild landscape dotted with signs that whisper secrets to those who know how to listen. Imagine the Apache warriors, masters of stealth and strategy, leaving little breadcrumbs, an artfully arranged stone here, a slit in the bark of a tree there. These were not mere symbols but a language all their own, a brilliant tapestry of communication woven into the fabric of the land. Each marker was a thread connecting the warriors to their prey, to the earth, and to each other. Such was the legacy they left, their knowledge echoing through the ages, a testament to their unmatched psychological prowess. Can you feel the chill travel up your spine yet? That's the genius of the Apache, making the unseen seen, turning the wild into a living ghost story to haunt their pursuers.
Imagine trekking through the rugged landscape of the American Southwest. The expansive sky above you and the rocky terrain underfoot. Suddenly, you notice a peculiar stack of stones. To an untrained eye, it's merely a random rock formation. But to the Apache warrior, it's a sentinel, a silent, coded message whispering secrets of the land. These cleverly arranged rocks signal more than just presence. They're a strategic defense mechanism, a psychological rabbit hole for their enemies. Picture this. A pursuing foe sees these signs, and dread slowly creeps in like the setting sun. What do these marks mean? Should they proceed or retreat? This is the genius of the Apache, turning nature into their canvas, their message board, and their battlefield. Now, these weren't just tactics, they were expressions of deep cultural roots. The Apache were nature's storytellers, leaving behind tales of their identity and land. It was never just about survival, it was about living with purpose, where every rock and tree became part of their living legacy. A legacy that fascinates historians even today and intrigues those who seek to learn from their ingenious ways of melding with nature, demonstrating how they turned the wilderness into their arithmetic companion against any adversary. Imagine this. You're wandering through the sun-baked desert valleys of the Southwest, and suddenly, you come across a peculiar arrangement of rocks. To the untrained eye, it might just seem like a coincidence. But to an Apache raider, it's a clear signal, a warning, a story written in stone. These skilled warriors didn't just live off the land, they communicated with it, leaving a trail of subtle messages for their allies and a spine-chilling sense of mystery for their foes. Here's the twist. This wasn't just survival strategy. This was art, deeply rooted in their culture, an ever-evolving dance between man and nature, a legacy of psychological mastery over territory and mind that still fascinates us today.
As the sun dips behind the rugged hills, casting long shadows over the barren landscape, imagine stumbling upon a peculiar arrangement of stones. You're not alone, these are whispers from the past, crafted by the elusive Apache raiders. These raiders, masters of the high desert, communicated not with written words but with the language of the land itself. Each rock, each bent twig, was a part of an intricate code, echoing with purpose and warning. To the untrained eye, it's just nature. But to the Apache, It's another chapter in their story, one of trickery, triumph, and tradition. Now, picture this: an enemy scout finds a tree scored with deliberate marks. It's more than mere vandalism, it's a sign that says, "We see you. We know your every move." Such was the Apache way, intimidating foes without a single arrow loosed. This was psychological warfare in its most primal form, leaving many to wonder if the land itself was allied with the Apache. And here we stand today, footnotes to this legacy, left with an enduring mystery. What messages, once clear as a summer sky to those warriors, might we still decipher? Or rather, what can we learn from how they spoke with Earth itself? Cue the intrigue. History's echoes aren't quite as silent as they seem.
Imagine you're a soldier hot on the trail of Apache raiders. The air is tense, the landscape an intricate puzzle of rocks, cacti, and shadows. Suddenly, you spot an unnaturally arranged group of stones. Innocuous at first glance but leaving an unmistakable chill down your spine. It's as if the very earth is whispering a cautionary tale. The Apaches were master storytellers of the landscape, using it not only as their fortress but as a canvas for messages. Each marker, each cleverly snapped twig or parallel track, was a calculated move in a grand game of psychological chess. This wasn't merely tactical, it was an art form steeped in tradition. They spoke the language of the land fluently, both as camouflage artists and psychological warriors. Even today, their methods, blending seamlessly with nature, teach us resilience and adaptability, showing that sometimes, the most powerful messages are those etched in silence by the hands of the earth itself.
Imagine walking through a dense forest in the American Southwest, where every step feels like it's being watched by unseen eyes. As you move, you notice rocks deliberately stacked in the shape of an arrow, pointing deeper into the brush. A chill runs down your spine. Is it a trap, or a guide crafted by the masterful Apache warriors? These signs were the fingerprints of the Apache, whispers of their presence that left their enemies questioning reality itself. To the Apache, land wasn't just terrain, it was a canvas for strategy and expression, blurring lines between nature and art. Their cunning use of signs was more than survival, it was an art of psychological warfare, a dance of intellect with the land as their stage partner. Even today, their mastery fascinates historians and survivalists alike, standing as a testament to their understanding of harmony and dominance.
Imagine walking through the dense, whispering woods of the American Southwest. You spot an oddly arranged stack of rocks, a specific bend in a tree branch, or the faintest impression of a footprint. These aren't just coincidences left by nature. These are the ingenious signs of Apache warriors, weaving their presence into the land like whispers in the wind. Each marker is a silent message, a masterful stroke in a psychological game designed to keep their adversaries awake at night. The Apache were more than warriors. They were artists of the wild, turning the landscape into their canvas for tactical brilliance. This strategic symphony was not just about evasion or ambushes. It was a cultural declaration, a testament to their enduring bond with the earth. Even today, we find ourselves fascinated by their legacy, a legacy where nature and intelligence waltzed in perfect harmony. Who would have thought a simple rock could be more than a rock?
Imagine standing in the vast, scorching terrain of the American Southwest, your senses heightened by the sheer expanse of open land. Suddenly, you come across an innocuous pile of rocks stacked deliberately, a whisper in the formidable silence. To the untrained eye, it's nothing more than a curious arrangement, but for Apache raiders, it's a meticulously crafted message, a warning, a taunt, a masterpiece of subtle intimidation. These signs were the workings of the land itself, harnessed as a canvas by Apache warriors skilled in psychological chess. With each mark etched into the bark of a tree or track left in the dust, the Apaches communicated dominance, weaving their way through history as the ultimate strategists grounded in cultural richness and natural mastery. Through the shadows of the canyons, they echoed a simple truth: the land is both ally and arsenal for those who listen closely. Indeed, it is this intricate dance with nature that continues to intrigue adventurers and historians alike, challenging modern minds to understand their legacy of resilience and cunning.
Picture this. You're traveling through the vast plains of the Southwest when you stumble upon a curious arrangement of stones. To the untrained eye, nothing more than a peculiar rock garden, right? But to the Apache, it's a masterpiece, a warning, a guide, and a challenge all in one. They were artists of the land, signing their work with symbols that whispered secrets only the initiated could hear. They turned the familiar landscape into a living storyboard, blending cultural identity with strategic genius. Their enemies? Ever on edge, always wondering, is this a path to safety or a cleverly set trap? The whisper of leaves, the rustle of a distant branch, every sensation and echo of the Apache's presence, a reminder of their mastery. Today, their legacy remains a testament to their profound connection with the earth. Imagine weaving messages into the very fabric of the world, as if communicating directly with the terrain itself. That's the art of the Apache, a skillful dance with nature and a psychological game of checkmate.
Picture this. You're walking through the Arizona desert under the sweltering sun, and suddenly, there's a peculiar arrangement of rocks ahead. It's not just a random pile, it's a message. Apache raiders were here. These signs weren't just about direction, they were whispers of an unseen presence, a gripping game of shadows and whispers. Every footprint, every marked tree, was like an unspoken story. A mind game, really, that left enemies second-guessing every step. This wasn't just strategy, it was art, one that spoke of their deep connection to the land. Imagine code words woven into the very fabric of nature, their voices echoing through rock and tree, melding history with the present. It's no wonder historians still find themselves captivated by this mastery of land and spirit. What an incredible testament to survival and intelligence, don't you think? Imagine walking through the dense, sun-baked terrains of the American Southwest. You spot an odd arrangement of rocks, subtle but deliberate. You might think, just nature being playful. But not to the Apache. This was a message in a silent language echoing through the land. Now, you're treading on alertness itself. These stones are not just there, they are a whisper from the past, a reminder of the Apache's watchful eyes. For the Apache, the land was like a vast canvas to weave stories and strategies alike. It was their ally, their voice. Through cryptic signs, rocks, bent branches, seemingly errant pathways, they practiced an intricate dance of psychological warfare, mastering survival with sheer intelligence and creativity. Their messages weren't just about survival, they were woven with identity, culture, and an uncanny harmony with nature. This art of communication tells the tale of a people who not only roamed the lands but owned their narrative within it.
Imagine walking through the rugged terrain of the Apache homeland, every rustle of leaves and shifting stone whispering 1,000 unspoken words. You'd notice a stack of 3 deliberate stones, when placed just right, while others pass without a glance. To the trained eye, these stones are as loud as a drumbeat, signaling to fellow warriors and warning to enemies. The Apache weren't just warriors of flesh and bone, they were masters of the land's secret language. Each mark, each sign, was both a message and a masterpiece crafted by nature's own canvas. It's a brilliant symphony of survival, art, and psychology. The Apache's signs weren't mere tactics, they were declarations of identity etched by those who lived in harmony with an unforgiving land. It's a legacy still teaching us today, whispering tales of resilience to those who listen closely.
Picture the rugged landscapes of the American Southwest, silent save for a whispering breeze. Now imagine an Apache warrior, as he crouches by a tree, his keen eyes scanning the horizon. With a swift, deliberate hand, he arranges a few rocks in a seemingly random pattern. Yet, to those in the know, it speaks volumes, like a symphony in stone. This art of the natural signpost was the heart of the Apache strategy, a testament to their seamless blend of cultural expression and tactical genius. For their enemies, each rock, each mark was like a ghostly echo, forever keeping them in the shadows of uncertainty, ever so hesitant to follow. It was not merely about warfare, it was about identity, connection, and the intangible strength drawn from the land itself. The Apache transformed landscapes into cryptic canvases, rich with messages deeper than words, a tapestry of terror and tribute interwoven. Imagine riding through a vast, untamed landscape, every rock, tree, and shadow whispering secrets to those who know how to listen. Apache raiders, masters of this art, could turn the land into a living chessboard. Each arranged rock, expertly carved tree mark, and carefully left footprint was a message, a code, only decipherable to the initiated. This was more than just strategy. It was a dance with the earth, a testament to their profound connection with the world around them, and a form of psychological warfare as elegant as it was unnerving. Their enemies never knew what to expect next. In the silent language of the landscape, the Apaches wrote their warnings. One can only imagine their pursuers, senses heightened, wondering if the land itself had turned against them. Even now, this legacy continues to intrigue and inspire, offering a glimpse into a way of life that harmonized with the rhythm of the desert.
To explore more content like this, visit blackhawkvisions.com.